Hey, welcome to the channel, guys. Video today is about the used car market a little bit, and also the Ford KA that I've been at and purchased. A lot of other YouTubers have commented on this, but the sub £2.5 market with cars at the moment, it's going crazy. There seems to be such a high demand for cheap runabouts, especially petrol, low cc petrol cars like the 1.2s and the 1.4s. Diesels seem to have gone out the window. That's definitely the case in Bristol, but obviously you've got the ULEZ in London and the Birmingham, and people are just wary of diesels because overnight they're almost worthless to some people if they live in these cities. And it's quite interesting how the top end of the market, like the 10 grand plus, seems to be dropping. There was like an RS3 I was looking at on eBay, and it's been advertised for about 7 months now, and it has been dropping, and it's dropped by about 5.5 grand. I think it's come down by. It's quite a significant amount, and obviously there must be a lot of people that have been and purchased these sort of high-end cars in the last 12 months, and they've been caught out a little bit. I mean, it's fine if you're keeping the car, but if you're looking to change your car, then you're going to take quite a loss when you come to sell that. Right then, guys, I've been out and purchased this KA. I've been looking for a little while now for a little cheap runabout. These, especially at the moment with the way the market is, anything that's like sub 100k mileage and cheap to insure and under the £3 mark tends to sell very, very quickly if it's in full working order. Well, I purchased this off Marketplace. Now, the guy had actually put the advert on for £1,000, and at the time of seeing that, I did think to myself, well, that seems very, very cheap for this car. This car would retail probably about 2.5 grand. Anyway, messaged the guy, and he's come back to me and said, I asked him the question, is there anything wrong with the car? And he's come back to me and said, no, nothing really wrong with the car, but the engine light is on and the handbrake doesn't work. I said, right, okay. So anyway, went to view the car, and the car is actually in pretty good working order. He was right, when I got there the engine light was on, but it didn't seem to be affecting the performance of the car or the engine. Took it for a drive. We ended up agreeing on 800 quid. I was quite happy there. There are cars that you buy, and when you buy them, if you're actually going to make any money out of that car. And that's definitely the case with this one. There's certain cars I bought in the past, and you might have paid a bit too much money for them, and you think to yourself, I don't think I'm going to make any money here, or it's going to be you're going to have to really wait for the right person who really wants to pay that full ticket for that car. There is a slight exhaust blow. I've taken that for a drive now. Yeah, the exhaust, it sounds like it's coming from the front actually. That's something I'm going to have to check out. The actual engine light was a vacuum hose. And this is the KA Mark II, and it's got the same engine as the Fiat 500, like the 1.2 4-cylinder petrol. At the back of the engine and at the top, there's a little rubber hose, which is a vacuum hose, and that actually split. And that was what was causing the engine light to come on, although it didn't actually affect the performance. So that was a nice little cheap fix. The gearbox sounds good. Something you've got to be really careful of on the KA Mark II and the Fiat 500. So they've got exactly the same gearbox. Is the gearbox? They can become quite grindy, and especially in like second and first gear, you'll feel like a grinding noise, or you'll hear a grinding noise when you're driving along, and it'll sound different to what a wheel bearing would sound like, if you get my gist there. It just sounds a little bit more aggressive, but yeah, you've got to be careful of that. But yeah, I mean, it's driving pretty well. Like I said, there is that exhaust blow. I think it sounds like it's coming from the front. And I know on these, the exhaust joins just underneath the engine into the back box. So that's something I'll put it on the ramp and have a look at that. But yeah, it's the suspension feels good. I mean, for 800 quid, guys, yeah, this is a good day. Like I said, buying cars can be, you go out and buy vehicles, and it can be a bit of a nightmare sometimes to get, cars that work properly or don't need too much work. This car itself has got a little bit of bodywork damage on the rear quarter. It's not massively detrimental to the car. Like I said, this car retail about £2.5 grand. So even if I was to sell this for say £2,000 with that little bit of damage, I think because the type of car it is, someone will be willing to pay that. You know, I would say the most likely person to buy this car will be someone who's just passed their test and looking for their first car. So they're not going to be massively interested, you know, to a certain extent if it does have minor bodywork damage and that sort of thing. So yeah, it's the heater works properly. That's another thing you need to be careful of with the Ford Ka Mark II. The heater, if it only works on setting 4, then basically you've got to change a component called the resistor. And but in order to do that, you've got to take the dashboard and the pedals out on this car to do that. It's a bit of a nightmare. You don't really want to go there if you can avoid it. So yeah, guys, quite pleased with this one. As you can probably tell from my other video, I have also bought a Ford Galaxy, which I'm working on at the moment. That's got a transmission fault. I do hope to bring a few more videos in the future of stuff that I buy. I tend to focus on Fords and Peugeots. That tends to be where my knowledge is. I know there's like other guys that focus purely on German stuff like VW and Audi, but I've never really worked on Audi. You know, I was a mechanic for Ford, so that's where my knowledge is. Yeah, so if you like the video, guys, please hit the subscribe button. Like I said, I'm just starting out doing this, so you know, any more subscribers that I can get at this point will be very helpful for the channel. Anyway, guys, I wrap it up there. Thanks for watching, and I will, as soon as I have cleaned this car up, I'll do another video before I put it up for sale. Thanks, guys.